What's going on, Skullbrains? Welcome to another episode of Skullbrain TV, and here we are, the Ancestral Challenge for book number 6. But first, let's go over that Ancestral Challenge for book number 5. How did you go? Were you able to find Shumi and Shubi? I will admit, they're a bit tricky to find in this one. They appeared on the very last page, hidden away here, in the cliff face. And how did you go with the fragments of the Evil One's mask? One of them was here on page 73, hidden below this axe, and the other one was on page 78, right next to Melik, on the side of the little cave that they were hiding in. And how did you go with the Monsters and Magic Challenge? This one was easy. Given that the name of the villain was Boltor, the Bird of Thunder, he was based on the lightning bird from South Africa. Okay, in the last challenge, I said that there was a clue somewhere in the story that would tell us which life force pod Richard and his friends had collected. Did you hear which one it was? Well, the clue was on page 72, and it said, as Richard walked towards the others, the heat beat at him in waves. He was amazed at how much he had been able to endure so far. So, the life force pod that they have in their possession is the Pod of Endurance. Alright, let's get into the challenge for book number 6. In this issue, we are going to be looking for Shumi and Shubi. We're going to be looking for one fragment of the Evil One's mask. And also in this next issue, we're going to be finding several faces somewhere among the illustrations. See if you can spot them. As for the Monsters and Magic cards, this time it's not based on the villain, but it's based on one of the characters that the trio meets. So, first up, we have Green Man, and his origin is Europe. On the mysterious presence of nature. Wherever you may go, remember that the Green Man may be looking at you. He is the mysterious spirit of nature and lives within the trees. Behind the scrolling leaves that cover his face, his eyes are ever watchful, and twining greenery spills down his chest in a huge living beard. Long ago, when great dark forests covered the countryside and man lived close to the land, the power of nature was strong. People depended on nature for the success of their crops, and they held trees, the most powerful form of greenery, in the highest esteem. They always made sure that they showed nature their regard. Every spring, a young man decked out in leaves and greenery would be the Green Man for a day. He would lead other villagers in a merry dance around the village. People greeted and honoured him and rejoiced at the great rebirth of nature. Some people even believed that trees could speak. Most respected was an ancient oak that foretold the future and offered guidance or warnings. Priests sat under its gnarled boughs, listening to the rustling of its leaves and passing on their whispered messages. Okay. Now, next up we have the Green Knight. And his origin is from Britain. On courage, breaking an enchantment. Who would be brave enough to take up a challenge thrown down by the Green Knight? He is a fearsome giant, tall as 2 men and strong as 10. All about him is green, his skin, his hair, the clothes that he wears. The steed he rides is green as emeralds, its harness finely cut and polished to look like the greenest ivy. In one hand, the knight brandishes an axe, in the other, evergreen holly. One Christmas Eve, the Green Knight rode into King Arthur's court at Camelot. Throwing the holly down as a gauntlet, he challenged a brave knight to cut off his head, then a year later, offer his own neck to the Green Knight's blade. Only Sir Gawain dared answer the strange challenge. He struck the blow and the Green Knight's head rolled on the floor. The giant did not die, however. He picked up his head and left on the green horse. A year later, Gawain rode off to fulfill his promise and met the Green Knight. Gawain knelt down and lay his head on a cold stone. The giant lifted his axe. 3 times he brought it down. 3 times he spared valiant Sir Gawain. The Green Knight explained that he had been under the spell of a witch who bore King Arthur ill will. Only the bravest knight could break the enchantment and allow him to speak out. Sir Gawain's courage had freed him, and now he could warn the king. And that is the end of the Monsters and Magic Challenge for the next issue. So, as you're watching the next episode, see if you can guess which character one of these myths was based on. In the pinned comment below, you can find a link where you can download the 2 cards that I've just read out, as well as a link to the folder that you can print out, cut out, and keep them in. There were no letter tokens in this issue to collect, but there will be more. So, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and ring the little bell icon to be notified when the next issue is released. And, as always, thanks for watching, stay tuned, and stay skullbrained.